What if your Bitcoin transactions didn't reveal who paid whom without using a mixer or changing how you use your wallet? Well, in this episode of Become Unruggable, I'm in Taipei with Dan Gould from Payjoin Foundation. We break down how Payjoin works, how it improves Bitcoin privacy by breaking chain analysis heuristics, and why it's already built right into Bull Wallet. If you care about using Bitcoin privately and want to understand one of the most practical privacy upgrades available today, stick around for this one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel with Gigi and yet another episode from beautiful Taipei after Bitcoin++. And this time I'm joined by Dan Gould from Payjoin Foundation, which is something that I've been meaning to get an interview on for some time, and I was happy to see him on the speakers list for this event. And of course, as you guys know, that I've been following my journey with Bull Wallet. Bull Wallet does have Payjoin natively integrated into it, and a lot of people were asking, especially in the Telegram group, what is Payjoin? Why do we have it? What are the benefits? So I couldn't think of a better opportunity but have Dan break down the concept for new beginners, and also other people that have been in the space for the last few years who are still unfamiliar with Payjoin. So maybe we can start from there. How would you describe to a beginner Bitcoiner what is Payjoin?
First off, I want to say thanks for having me, Gigi, of course. So Payjoin for beginners is kind of an odd topic to begin with because the whole point is that you don't really need to know about it to use it. That's what makes it brilliant, right? You just scan a QR code and you have this extra transaction magic in the background that saves fees and preserves people's privacy. Nuts and bolts, what's happening is when I pay you with Bull Bitcoin, if I scan your code, rather than just send a transaction to the Bitcoin network, I give you the opportunity to batch some transaction intents with me. And what that would typically be in the Bull wallet is a consolidation. So I pay you, you do some wallet cleanup, which can save fees in the future, and the transaction looks like a single person consolidation. So it's not clear that two people are using it. And because of this, yes, we save fees over time, but also it makes chain analysis a lot more difficult because when you look at any given transaction, you don't know, is this just a spend? Is it a consolidation? Is it a pay join? The assumptions that people make about transactions are not default true anymore.
I like it. We like to confuse the chain analysts who are trying to snoop and see who's moving where. I guess my follow-up question and personal question would be, when for example, Dan, you're sending me some sats into my Bull wallet and I contribute some of my sats from my wallet to this transaction, how are those UTXOs chosen, and does the UTXO split into a new set or the UTXO stays the same on my end?
So every time you spend sats, you have to spend the whole UTXO and make a new one.
Okay.
That's just the Bitcoin model.
Yeah.
Because it's not accounts, you spend whole coins and you make new coins. Coin selection first. So coin selection in Bull Bitcoin first uses some heuristic avoidance. So there's some, even though we do generally break assumptions with Payjoin, there's this thing called unnecessary input heuristic. So if the coins that you're spending are more than necessary to cover the amount that is assumed to be the payment, then someone can see that on chain and say, this might not be just a regular transaction, maybe it's a Payjoin. However, there's in Bitcoin Core, these transactions happen regularly anyway because of consolidation time to time and to break heuristics. So it's still not a sure thing, but our coin selection first tries to select coins to avoid that heuristic. And then I believe it just tries to spend the small coins to consolidate them.
I see. So on the aspect of trying to hide your trace, how do Payjoin transactions differ to something, for example, like Coinjoin?
So that's where I definitely wouldn't say hide your trace. I think
confuse more than hide.
Yeah, well, what makes Payjoin very different from an approach to what people have done with Coinjoins in the past is in the past it has really been this idea that users that are really interested in privacy, they take some specific action to break the history in the future from the past. And they did this with Coinjoin. They had special wallet software that enrolled in the Coinjoin. Maybe it was on all day in a hot wallet. It joined with a bunch of other people and it spent funds back to them. But that is a very bizarre way to use money. Like no one does that with their dollars and their bank accounts unless they're really trying to avoid some adversary. It's very unusual behavior. And for that reason, very few people could end up using Coinjoin. Sure, there was demand for it, but I think it limited the privacy of the whole network because it was always this subset of users. So even addressing Bitcoin privacy, I think we need to meet people where they're at. That way we can get a large number of people using Payjoin, high volume of people using Payjoin. So instead of doing some mixing action, Payjoin's all designed around the existing user flow where you scan a QR code or you get an address that's been shared with you, you approve the amount that's sent and you click send. And that's all you need to do and everything else happens in the background. It's only 2 people for now with Payjoin, and the privacy is not like a break from history. It's not hiding. It just makes the dragnet surveillance a lot more difficult. Now, in the future, we can get even better privacy properties, but for now, the best way to think about Payjoin is it really doesn't protect you from the second party. So if I send you money, you still see how much money I sent you, and the same you would in the past. But a third party before Payjoin would be able to see that we send money to each other and exactly how much. After Payjoin, that becomes a lot more difficult to do because the assumptions they used to do that analysis is just no longer reliable.
Got it. Follow-up question, personally, through this conversation, what popped into my head and what you just said, would it be possible to send a transaction to 2 different wallets? So you essentially have like 3 wallets, so 1 input and 2 outputs to do 2 different wallets.
You can do that with Payjoin already. So the interactive element is what makes it different from your typical Bitcoin transaction, where old school Bitcoin transaction, you get all the inputs and all the outputs, you sign, you send it, that's it.
Yeah.
But because we interact, say you have a bill you want to pay.
Yeah.
You know that when you receive sats from me, you're going to send it right to a merchant. You're going to send it to Bull Exchange for this example. What you could do instead, this hasn't been programmed in the mobile wallet yet, but we could feasibly, there's no technical limitations. You could have a queue that says, when I have this certain threshold of sats, I automatically want to sell because I need to pay my bills. Or like before the end of the week, I want to sell when it's favorable. So you queue that. Then when I scan your QR code, under the hood, we're doing some interaction. So if I were sending to you, I would give you a partially signed Bitcoin transaction through the Payjoin protocol. Your wallet would then be able to replace the output that's spending to your address with one that pays some of the money forward to make that sale to the exchange and keeps the change in your wallet as well as still keeps my change. And then you have the opportunity, because we're interacting, to return that, I call it an augmented PSBT, including your inputs potentially consolidating. You sign it, you send it back to me, and because of the protocol, I have authentication that the response actually came to you, and I can look at the transaction, see it's not spending any more than my original send. So it's all cool with me. I sign it, I broadcast it, and now money goes to you, money goes forward to the exchange, I get change all in the same transaction, we break the heuristics, and we've used less block space to do the same action.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stuff you can do just by having this simple interaction. Another example, if you'll let me continue.
Yeah, no, of course. Is, keep it rolling.
With an exchange, you can have someone deposit to the exchange that accepts Payjoin, and they can replace the output that they would take into their custody with some outputs to people making withdrawals. So the deposits can directly fund the withdrawals, which frees up coins in the exchange's custody to increase the velocity
and saves fees.
Supercharge batching. Exactly. You have input side batching, which was totally not possible before, and inputs are the most expensive part of the transaction.
Super interesting. I don't know if we've gone a little bit too deep for beginners, but I guess it's not all beginners that will be watching. There's a lot of components to it, but I think the key takeaway is, guys, don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to do nothing yourself. Everything happens behind the scenes, which I think is the magic part about it. And for example, with Bull Wallet, if you're sending from your Bull Wallet to another friend who's got Bull Wallet, everything happens behind the scenes, so you don't have to be, trying to figure out which input, which output. Maybe I want to bring the focus to the Payjoin Foundation itself. Maybe you could share kind of what are you guys currently kind of working on? What's your plans? What's your goal for the next year of 2026?
Integrations everywhere, man. We've had such great luck with Bull Bitcoin being the first in the mobile integration, Android, iOS, and Cake Wallet this year. The next year, we're going to really ramp up the number of integrations.
Nice.
We've got a team of quite a few dedicated people across languages. We've got bindings in Dart, JavaScript, Python now. Again, not beginner, but the point is we've got the core library and all the bindings, and any wallet or service or exchange, the time is now to integrate. The software is mature enough finally.
Amazing. Well, I want to see more of that because at the moment, I can just use Payjoin with other fellow Bull Wallet users, other people. I'm telling them about Payjoin and they're like, yeah, but it doesn't work. I don't have it yet. So it's coming. It's coming, as Dan said. Maybe to close it off, maybe we can touch upon fundraising. Is this something that you guys are looking at this stage, or where are you with regards to fundraising?
Yeah, definitely. We just announced some support from Cake Wallet. So they helped us out. Our sponsors in the past, Spiral, OpenSats, Maelstrom, HRF, Btrust, all have not necessarily contributed to Payjoin Foundation, but support Payjoin developers, Geyser grants as well. I spent the past few months fundraising, so we've got a solid team. I think kind of the more important thing is to shout out the Chain Code Boss program, actually. I don't know if this is going to air before the 31st of December. But
no.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, the developers that come up and join us and have contributed have just been excellent, and getting involved and learning to upstream stuff has been the key to our growth. And as the talent has been developed, then the funds are happy to support that great work that our team is doing.
Amazing. Well, Dan, thanks so much for taking the time to come on to break it down. Thank you for coming all the way to Taipei, and it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. I heard about you from Francis and the team, so it's been nice that we actually connected in person. And thank you for sharing this with the audience to get people to see what is possible already today, because it feels like sometimes people are like, oh, but nothing's really changing in Bitcoin, and there's, with regards to chain analysis, everything's tracked, and they're looking at other shitcoins to do whatever they want to do. And it's like, hey guys, there's still a lot of implementations happening. It's just not yet spread out enough, but that is coming in, and it needs time.
There's a lot of supporting software too. It's going to be a good year.
Dan, where can we send people to check out more about what you're doing with your work, and maybe your own pages on X, Nostr?
Yeah, payjoin.org, sign up for the mailing list, at Payjoin DevKit on Twitter and X, and I'm BitGould, BitGould. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks a lot, Dan. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you found this conversation valuable and insightful, please do share it. That's the best way you can support and spread the signal. If this video helped you understand how Payjoin actually levels up your Bitcoin privacy, then head over to wallet.bullbitcoin.com and download Bull Wallet right now. It's available on both iOS and Android app stores worldwide. It's fully non-custodial, 100% open source, and has Payjoin natively integrated, so your Bitcoin stays private and fully under your control. And if you found this video useful, then do make sure to hit that like button, drop any questions in the comment section down below, and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any of the future deep dives into Bitcoin privacy and self-custody tools. Stay safe, stay sovereign, and see you on the next one.